dreadful drama triangle of persecutor, rescuer, victim, which is a takeoff of Dr. Steve Cartman's drama triangle, which Dr. Steve developed in the 60s, showing that a reactive relationship ends up in what he called the drama triangle of persecutor, rescuer, victim. Last time we spoke about and shared about the different characters within the drama triangle, and that 98.9% of us at one time or another have been in the triangle. David Emerald, in his book called The Power of Ted, calls it the dreadful drama triangle, a toxic brew. And I agree with him that what this is anytime I do not tell someone what I need from them, want from them, and be open about my relationship with them, then I set myself up either to be a victim, a rescuer of a victim, and a persecutor. Now, these three roles of persecutor, rescuer, victim are common roles historically, because we were indoctrinated, if you want to use the word. We were certainly brought into light. These were brought into light very early in life, because every fairy tale has a persecutor, rescuer, victim. There's always the wicked witch, there's always the poor damsel in distress, and there's always Prince Charming, the rescuer. So we grow up, and it becomes our default orientation to be problem-oriented, to look at life as a problem, a series of problems that either we must solve or that we must get away from, remove from our life in order to enjoy happiness. Well, the truth is that once we focus on a problem, we become part of the problem. If you remember, if you watch the video, the last video, I talked about a frisbee, which I called Fisbee, F-I-S-B-E. Can you see it? Fisbee. And I remember I used it at one of my seminars, and I threw it at the people, at the participants, and I said, "Will somebody catch my Fisbee?" And they said, "No, that's a frisbee." I said, "No, this is a Fisbee." And what a Fisbee is a mental order. F stands for what I focus on, I become. Either anxious, fearful, angry, scared, or I focus on something that produces within me peace, calm, quiet, tranquility. Give you an example. If you're focusing on a very poor relationship, a destructive relationship, be it a marriage or any type of relationship, you focus on the situations within that relationship, and that is the F in Fisbee. What that does is produce our mental state, which is the IS, the inner state of either anxiety, fear, anger, etc. Or if we are out in the yard at night looking at the beautiful stars, or we're sitting on the beach looking at a very tranquil ocean, that produces a mental state of tranquility and peace. Both of these situations, that which is dysfunctional as well as that which brings tranquility and peace, produces our behavior. So if I focus on that which is a problem, a real problem for me, it produces within me anxiety, depression, anger, fear, a desire either to fight the situation, resolve it, flee from it, or freeze, do nothing. And that in turn, that inner state, that mental state, drives my behavior. And within the drama triangle, every relationship is reactive. It's sort of like a pinball machine. It just bounces off of each other. Once I'm a victim, then I become a persecutor, then I become a rescuer to try to rescue a victim who doesn't want to be rescued. And around we go. Well, today, I am talking about an escape from this dreadful drama triangle. And the escape is something we do very naturally. We're not even aware that we do it. And a lot of times what we do is, as we look at the problem, we either look at it either with the glass half full or the glass half empty. And if we look at it as half full, we think maybe there are different alternatives to this problem. Maybe there are ways of looking at this problem from a different orientation. Maybe this problem could become a learning experience for me. Perhaps this problem, this circumstance or occurrence, which we normally call the persecutor, it could be either a condition in life, a circumstance in life, it doesn't have to be a person. But when we look at that, we naturally may think of alternatives. And this is called a creator orientation. Going from a victim or problem orientation into a creator orientation. David Emerald, in his book, The Power of Ted, which I really encourage you and recommend that you read it, gives that classic example of Viktor Frankl, who was a prisoner in a Nazi concentration camp. He was certainly a victim of the Nazis. However, Dr. Frankl said that one thing that the Nazis could not take away from him was his choice of attitude, his choice of looking at the situation in whichever way he chooses. He began to work with fellow inmates. Rather than focusing on the problem and staying anxious, and which would cause his victim behavior, he chose to work with fellow inmates, saying to them, what are you going to do when you get out of here? What are your plans? He got them excited. He discovered that he had a complete freedom even within the concentration camp, even though he's still a prisoner. So it is possible for us to make a shift from being a victim or feeling as if we've been victimized or actually have been victimized to become a creator of a new outcome within that same circumstance, to create a new way of looking at reality. David Emerald calls that TED, the power of TED, and that stands for the empowerment dynamic, where the victim changes orientation and his attention changes from what he wants to get away from, and his intention becomes what he really wants in this situation. What is his passion? What's his desire, his love that he really would want to achieve in this situation? So the creator becomes one who will create a new orientation. Instead of running and fighting and arguing, the creator begins to dream and work toward what he does want and not focus on what he doesn't want. He sees the glass as half full rather than half empty. I may use that example again. Within the power empowerment dynamic, TED, there are three characters. The victim becomes the creator. The rescuer becomes the coach who empowers the victim, who coaches empowers the creator. The coach empowers the creator to reach the heights, the goals, the dreams that he or she is choosing. So the rescuer becomes the coach, and the persecutor, be it a person, circumstance, or an occurrence, becomes the challenge. And a challenger, if it be a person, is one who will challenge the creator to come up with viable alternatives, new outcomes that are hidden perhaps deeply within that person, and to be able to escape this dreadful drama triangle. It's exciting because we can look at life either way. If I focus on the problem, I become part of the problem. But if I focus on a solution to the problem, then I become part of the solution. Malcolm Smith years ago wrote a book called Turn Your Back on the Problem. And I love the book because what he was really saying was, if we focus on the problem, we become part of the problem, and that dominates our behavior. But if I turn my back on the problem, I sidestep, refocus, turn my back on the problem, then I become part of the solution. And each one of us can do that, to become part of the solution. I've even looked at it in a Christian context, that the rescuer becoming coach is really the Holy Spirit working within us. The Holy Spirit who will guide and direct us to the outcomes that will be best for us. So I'm hoping today that this is helping you some to realize you don't have to stay in the dreadful drama triangle, that you can escape it and be involved, richly involved, very much involved in the empowerment dynamic, in a creator orientation rather than a victim orientation. Now let me make one thing clear. We don't make that shift immediately and automatically. To shift from being a victim or a rescuer or a persecutor is no easy task, because it's first of all necessary to see there are alternatives to the problem. Secondly, to take baby steps. And how does a baby step? A baby steps 1 minute and then down he goes on the floor, but he gets back up, takes another baby step, and he's moving forward incrementally. That's the same thing with us, because what we're really talking about is changing destructive habits into healthy habits. Changing from bad habits to good habits. And any time there is change in our life, even if it's healthy change, there is pain. Break a leg, the bone begins to knit, a lot of pain as that bone heals, but it's a healing pain. A woman in labor preparing to give birth is in pain, labor pains. But they're healthy pains because she's giving birth to a new person. And that's the same thing within us. That we can go from destructive behaviors to healthy behaviors, from destructive pain to redemptive pain, if we so choose. Well, I would love for you to let me know how you are enjoying this series. I will be talking next week about another aspect of the Creator orientation. But I would love to hear from you. Please feel free to call me at 803-422-4306 or email me at drdavid, Dr. David without any dot after the R, drdavid.watkins, Watkins, at gmail.com. We'd love to hear from you. If you have any questions, please pose them. Please let me know whether you are receiving some valuable information. But I would love to hear from you. And have a great week. And God bless.